What the fuck did I see in this thing? I don't know what the fuck I saw in this movie when I first saw it in the theater. I know I did a review where I gave it a 9 out of 10. I don't know what I was at the time. Maybe I was like, you know, I don't know. Tobey Maguire's like, you know, it's a new Spider-Man movie. It'll be good. I mean, you got the original Spider-Man seal of approval. Then you hope it's gonna be good. But no. What is The Amazing Spider-Man? A shallow, pointless movie that does not need to exist. This does not need to exist at all. You see, what I'm holding in my hand should just be air. It's unnecessary. This is an unnecessary, pointless movie that when I researched more about it was a fucking cash grab. So we're back to the grainy as fuck webcam for a little bit. And yeah, I was at Eastern State. We're gonna do some review. Going back to this motherfucking movie. This motherfucking remake. It's not a reboot. It's a remake. You know what's a remake? You know what? This is a remake. I'm sorry. Anyone who calls this a reboot, it's not a reboot. Name me one other fucking reboot that has almost exactly the same motherfucking plot as this movie. Now you're like, oh, it's comic books. Oh, well, they had to. You didn't have to make the same goddamn origin story. The Incredible Hulk. That had the fucking origin in the credits. And that worked great. That worked to the film's advantage. The film moved at a much faster pace with great action, great acting by Edward Norton and Liv Tyler and William Hurt. Okay? You had a bunch of great actors in that movie. And they keep credit to Andrew Garfield was a good successor to Toby. He was a good Peter Parker. Or at least he did what he could do with this fucking shitty Peter Parker. This Peter Parker is a bit of a dick. I'm sorry, okay? When I'm like, oh, he's not a dick. Motherfucker. Okay, the many people are going, Darth, you liked The Amazing Spider-Man. Hell, you loved it. You gave it a staggering 9 out of 10 review. I rewatched this again to try to understand why I gave it a 9 out of 10. I gave that motherfucking movie. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I gave this a 9 out of 10. You see this? What the fuck was I thinking? I'm in the theater. There was probably something cool to it. There was a lot of cool things in the theater because it was a great theatrical experience. And you know what? I watched it on Blu-ray. And on Blu-ray, it's fucking great because it's a great movie to watch on Blu-ray. Hell, you know what? Fucking every movie's great to watch on Blu-ray. Every movie is great to watch on Blu-ray because you know what? If it's on film or digital, it should be put on Blu-ray. Digital up to 10. Well, what the fuck ever. The point is, The Amazing Spider-Man. You see, this is not amazing. This movie is not good. Okay, I don't know if I'm repeating myself. I'm sorry if I'm starting and stopping. But it just annoys this movie. This movie just gets me angry. Roger Ebert is one of my favorite critics of all time. I do not understand how the fuck he can say how he could have said with a straight face that this was better. This was better. This was better. He thought this was better, and this was actually better than the first fucking Spider-Man. The first Spider-Man movie is a fucking fantastic superhero movie on every level. Great acting, great story, great action. And another thing, maybe, you know what Spider-Man 3 and The Amazing Spider-Man have proven is that the Spider-Man movies should just be on a smaller scale. It should just be more of a personal conflict. Or it should just be limited to New York is in danger. Oh, but New York was in danger in this movie. But it wasn't just more of like The reason why the first two Tobey Maguire films work is because of the great chemistry and the workings with the hero and the villain. You watch the first Spider-Man movie with William Dafoe and Tobey Maguire work brilliantly off one another. Same with Tobey Maguire and Alfred Molina in Spider-Man 2. They work brilliantly off each other because of their great acting. Plus, the action in Spider-Man 2 is fucking fantastic. It's some of the best action I've seen in a superhero movie. Now, I love Man of Steel, but I'll admit, even as a guy who loved and thought Man of Steel was a good, solid film, I'll admit the action scenes, I said this even when I first saw the movie, the action was a little bit over the top. But I thought, for that movie, it was appropriate. I think Man of Steel is a much better movie than this. And Man of Steel deserves the term reboot. Because unlike this film, Man of Steel also did the origin story also. But there was some newer mythology to the origin story. This was a different Krypton. Completely different Krypton than what we had ever seen in a cinematic Superman film. Could you argue with a little bit too sci-fi generic? Maybe. Even with that said, there was something new to explore with Man of Steel. This movie offers nothing. If you've seen the Raimi films, you don't need to see this. You do not need to see this. This is just, I swear to God. It's like, what the fuck else? The Lizard. What the fuck? How generic and cliche of a villain can you write? I'm the Lizard. I want to make everyone lizard people. And I am going to have Peter Parker be able to look up my information and my evil plan. You shouldn't compare the Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man. You know what? Watch someone else's motherfucking video. You don't want to watch a video that's basically Spider-Man 1 and 2 versus the Amazing Spider-Man. You know what? Watch Sam's channel. Okay, great guy on YouTube named Sam's channel. Really, he makes some of the best motherfucking arguments I have ever seen on YouTube. The link for his video will be in the description. I encourage you to check his out if you don't want a comparison. And he cracks jokes. I'll admit, some of the jokes Andrew Garfield used, they were good. But me and my dad were watching this. My dad and I were going through a list of movies I had, a bunch of movies. And he picked out the Avengers and this. He's like, I've never seen this one before. And we were talking while we were watching the film, and we both agreed. My dad was like, this is kind of lame. This is kind of a lame movie. Because it was up to the point where he's swinging on the webs, and I was watching this movie, and the scene where Peter Parker's going on his little revenge quest, his little revenge vendetta. I'm like, motherfucker, are you trying to be like the Tim Burton Batman films? Okay? Are you trying to be like the motherfucking Burton Batman film? And in that, I referenced the first Tim Burton Batman film in my original review, giving a positive note. Seriously. Okay. Now what didn't work for me? The villain. The villain was one of the biggest problems. The Lizard. I think the reason why I hated the Lizard so much in this movie was not because, this is a motherfucking villain, I hate this motherfucker, I hate him. It wasn't like that. I hated him because of the portrayal. It was so fucking, oh my god. I have seen this mad scientist bullshit so many motherfucking times. I don't give a fuck if the fucking plot they used was in the comics. Guess what? It was fucking stupid. And all the Lizard needed to really be was just Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You didn't need to have this elaborate over-the-top bullshit. With the fucking, I'm gonna use the Oscorp thing to break the cloud and make everyone listen. What the fuck was up with that? What the fuck? Seriously. Okay, you want me to give some positive notes? I thought Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield work well off each other. As they should, because they're fucking dating in real life. If you're dating in real life and you're acting together, then you probably should bounce well off each other. And I'll admit, Emma Stone is a good Gwen Stacy, and to give once credit where credit is due to the Amazing Spider-Man, Gwen Stacy is a much stronger female love interest than Kirsten Dunst was. I'm saying this is a guy who loves the first two Raimi Spider-Man films. Loves them to the brim. If you watch my review of that movie, I gave it a positive, loving review. And people say the Raimi films didn't age well, but this is a pass? This is okay. This generic fucking, I've seen this done a million times, remake that comes 10 years after the first motherfucking movie. Yeah, that's real fucking smart. Thanks a lot. Thank you for making, and it's like, you know, when I first saw it, like I said, I loved it. Now I don't love it so much anymore, because it's just not that great a Spider-Man movie. It's not as good. I mean, it's like, let's try to make a movie that's better than the first two Raimi films. If that was their goal, to try to surpass Spider-Man 2, then you fail. You fail because you had a generic script. Now you might say, oh, why do you think it was generic? The movie is this was longer than no. This was 2 hours and 16 minutes. This movie was 2 hours and 16 minutes. Okay? The first film you have maybe an hour, and then he's Spider. Maybe you have 30 to 40 minutes, and then he's Spider-Man. Like that. Okay? And Uncle Ben's death in this movie is a lot more stupid than Uncle Ben's death in The Amazing Spider-Man than in the first Spider-Man. Because in The Amazing Spider-Man, you know, in the first movie, you know, it makes sense. Oh, we got Spider-Man 3. I will do a video about Spider-Man 3 at some point. And yes, I still have some nostalgia. Spider-Man 3 is a guilty pleasure for me. However, the way Uncle Ben dies is like, oh my god, like I'm running. And then he's like, no, he rushes to grab the motherfucking gun. What the fuck did he think was gonna happen? Or, oh, rushes the motherfucker to try to get the gun, get shot. Hello? Hello? You don't need to be a hero. Let the motherfucker go. Oh, shit. You want to get him? I think you have a cell phone. This isn't motherfucker. Anyway. You know what really pisses me off about the movie? Toward the end of this motherfucking movie, is when it actually starts to get good. That is the most annoying thing about it. The climax was epic. While I was watching the climax to the film, as stupid as the plot was, it gave me that feeling of a Spider-Man movie. It made me go, yes, I'm watching a Spider-Man film. And it gave me the kind of epicness that a Spider-Man film should give me. Oh, but aren't you contradicting yourself? No. Because the last few, the climax and the last few action scenes, they were great. Oh, and don't even get me started on this shit. Keep Gwen out of it. Yeah. Peter, come here, buddy. Come here. Well, bam! If your girlfriend is crying about her dad being dead, you go, Gwen. You hug Gwen. And he's like, oh, he told you. And I was so mixed on that scene. And maybe I am so. Because it's like, oh, well, he's dealing with a lot of shit. Even so, motherfucker should just be a man. And you know what? I'm dealing with a lot of personal fucked up shit in my life right now. And I gotta man up. He should have been a man and been with his woman. That's what a man does. If you're a boyfriend and you're not with your woman and you're not with your girlfriend and her dad's a motherfucking funeral, then you are a shit boyfriend. And that's what Peter Parker was a shit boyfriend. If this was the Tobey Maguire movie, Tobey Maguire would have been at MJ's side. He would have. Even if he was Spider-Man, he said, "I'm sorry I wasn't there," he wouldn't have broken up with MJ on her first motherfucking day. I'm so split on this movie. I don't feel comfortable with giving it a rating right now. The Amazing Spider-Man doesn't work on its own. Little bit. No, it doesn't. Okay, it's mediocre. It's a mediocre movie, and I really, really hate to be doing this. I really want to try to be nice. To be honest, The Amazing Spider-Man. I'm sorry if I offended anyone who likes this movie. Keep in mind, this movie does have its good points. The climax is epic. Andrew Garfield is a great successor to Tobey Maguire. Emma Stone is a fantastic Gwen Stacy. But everything else in this movie... Oh, the parents subplot? What the fuck happened to that? What was up with that untold story bullshit if you weren't gonna really dive into the parent shit? Thanks. I think I've given this movie enough chances. I loved it, and now I think it's pretty mediocre. Live long and prosper and have a wonderful day. And if you enjoy the movie, fine. To each his own. I still prefer the Raimi films. And I would have preferred a continuation. I'm gonna be nice. Fuck it. The Amazing Spider-Man is a 6.5 out of 10. It's not god awful. It's just not as good as it could have been. Yeah.